chopped liver over there. You got RFK, Robert Kennedy Jr. in the race so far. On the Democratic side is Marianne Williamson and Robert Kennedy Jr. On the Republican side, you got Nikki Haley is in there. Scott, Senator Scott has just said he in the fray. But this dude right here said it's only 3 credible people in the race, and all 3 are white men. So they the only credible people in the race.
Of course, I mean, like, they're white men. So the rest of these folk are just, puppets. I think here's the funny part. A lot of people will push back on this idea that Joe Biden's the only credible Democrat. Mainly the people that beat him twice as he ran for president 3-4 times. So let's not forget that. Joe Biden is not the only credible candidate. Donald Trump isn't. Donald Trump is not credible. You can't even use you can't even use that sentence ever and make sense. And Ron is doing what we see right now is this guy showing the world, reminding the world how simple and scared and small he is. Yes. The idea that he's trying to limit the field by naming, I'm gonna determine the competition, and then out of that competition, I'm gonna use one biased poll to say that I'm the person that can beat the one Democrat that's viable. Here's the truth of the matter, though. This the way the system is set up, the 2-party system is set up in this country. This may be true 40 years ago. However, what we're gonna see right now, I bet you in this election cycle, you're gonna see a challenge. And if the Democratic Party don't debate, don't allow a primary process, you're gonna see a rejection of that notion that you power players, you owner donors will determine who is our candidate, and you will see a third party success. And when I say success, I'm not saying that you can beat one of these main party candidates, but you will see a defection in voters' participation and also voters from these parties in a way that is going to surprise a lot of people. And these owner donors, these candidates, and these 2-party systems are in due time definitely going to see a rude awakening that I'm going to be proud of.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we are really in a bad way. If these are the only choices we have as a country, this is bad. All of these people can run. I'm never one to say that nobody can run. Hey, if you feel like you still got more life to live and more, running in you, run, do it. Do whatever you feel like you need to do. However, there's a however to this. It is a sad day if these are the only choices that we have in 2024 America. That's it. And that's all. You deserve more choice. All of these people can run. Some of these people are just being selfish. I mean, to me, a Biden and Trump, especially, to me, it's selfishness. Trump is running because he thinks it's gonna help him on with his legal woes, because he's just gonna tell people it's a hunt, witch hunt again, or warlock hunt against him because he's running for president. And then you got President Biden. I mean, why is it United States of America? Why are these the only 2 choices in 2024? What does that say about the state of America? It is something wrong. That should be the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth concern. And then let me just wrap that all up into nobody, not the sanctimonious. And man, it's unfortunate you got some other folks, sitting up there giving their opinion about who's credible, who's viable, who's not. Who named them the chief or the captain of determining who's viable, who's credible, who can run and who cannot? And half of these people that spouting off about who are the credible candidates, who not, will never step out there and do anything, not take a risk and not stand up for anything, whether it be right or wrong in the public purview. So the nerve of these people to say that. I didn't throw no papers today. Saki giving us the rap sign. Let me just go ahead and do this to end up this weekend. It has been a rip-roaring Friday, y'all. This is how Sister Turner is feeling right about now. Oh, Lord have mercy. Well, this is our time today. Mayor, it has been always awesome. We bring the fire every Friday. We're gonna call this Fire Friday. When you and I are together, oh baby, we bring the fire, the lightning, the rain, and the thunder. Yes, we do. And thanks to each and every one of you for joining us today. Sending you so much love. You know what we want you to do about this time. Always, 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 no matter how daunting it is, and no matter how daunting it seems, keep the faith. But marry that faith with some fight, baby. Faith without works and without fight is dead. Until next time.
Welcome, friends. Welcome, family. What's up, Pop? Welcome to the watch list, you guys. It's Friday. We're here. We're hanging out. I mean, we're here, Francesca. We're here, but I gave it away already. I already gave it away already.
I'm here. You're there. We're all together.
That's what's saying.
What's up? How's it going?
How you feeling? In case you guys don't know, since I squealed already, Francesca Fiorentini is my guest today. She's the host of the Bituation Room podcast, also Rebel HQ contributor, as well as a contributor across the whole damn TYT network. She joins me on a Friday to make this fun. Now I can say, how you doing, man? How's the baby? How's that baby?
She's adorable. She's a lot of work. I woke up at 5 and she like had flipped completely around in her crib. I was like, she's just doing, she's on her side, just going like, what's the move where you completely go all the way around? Like
the not rotation. She doesn't flip. She just spins, right? It's like a top.
My baby can do it all, actually, Jayar.
The question people always lose their minds over when your baby first then sits up. Oh, they're holding themselves up on their own. Oh, they're holding their neck. Then there's the walk. Oh man, they're crawling. It's every little thing.
Yeah, and then you're like, get a job.
For a quick preview, you said somewhat still new mom. What is she? She's several months old now, and you're up at 5 in the morning. Was that 5?
Yeah.
My child is 11. I was up at 3:40 this morning, just saying. In other words, Francesca, it never ends. It shall not.
Didn't someone tell me this?
With all my business out there in the streets, you guys can maybe understand why I just might be slightly tired, but we're still gonna chug right through all these stories. And which I would like to say, at least it's an exciting story Friday, a little bit of depression, but much more fun. I'm glad you're here with us for this, you guys. So please like, subscribe, go ahead and share that damn stream. Let everyone know what we're doing over here if you're enjoying it. We'll also go through some of your comments after these first couple of stories, which we're gonna begin down in Florida, where there's one huge corporation that's beginning to not exist down in Florida. Oh, it's coming to a head. Let's watch.
Come hell or high water, we're gonna win on every single issue involving Disney, I can tell you that.
He's focused on the important stuff: drugs, Muslims,
illegal aliens.
When you're trying to impose a woke ideology on our state, we view that as a significant threat.
fairies, drag queens,
Tramps.
This wokeness will destroy this country if we let it run unabated. So in Florida, we take a very big stand against that.
bestiality, mixed marriages.
Gangbang.
We're gonna make sure we're fighting back when Disney is threatening our kids.
You're goddamn right, meatball.
Florida is where woke goes to die.
That very funny but fake campaign ad there attributed to one Ron DeSantis, produced then by Dan Le Batard and his folks. You know, Dan Le Batard used to be with ESPN, a Miami native resident down there. They're coming after Ron DeSantis for his battle with Disney, as we have seen unfolding, and there's new wrinkles in this battle. How about we go straight to some of those battles? Disney on Thursday, just yesterday, upped this ante in their battle with Ron DeSantis and will cost his state 2,000 white-collar jobs, something he doesn't want to hear about. This company is scrapping plans to build a $1 billion office complex down there in Florida, and they cited these changing business conditions. according to that memo provided by a Disney spokesperson. Now, the Lake Nona development is what it's called, was envisioned as a regional hub for parks and resorts. And most of those 2,000 jobs included roles in finance, technology, and marketing. They were set to be moved from California. There's too many wrinkles to this story that go right against what Ron DeSantis wants to push as he preps for his presidential run, which has been stumbling before it ever got out of the blocks. I mean, that's according to some people. We'll still see how that goes. Now, as this is breaking down and DeSantis is potentially sweating over this, there's some conservatives that are talking about it still, and they're trying to find their way. Which side of this Disney debate do I find myself on? I'm trying to run against him, but then again, I don't want to lose these supporters. But then again, I also want to hate Disney, but then not hate Disney because they might pull something like this. One of these hopefuls, his name is Mike Pence. He's trying to toe that line too. Let's see how he pulled it off.
I just don't believe it's in the interest of the people of any state for a government to essentially go after a business that they disagreed with on a political issue. I disagree with Florida moving against Walt Disney. I disagree with California moving against Walgreens because they're going to obey the law about abortifacients in some 20 states, so they're going to cancel a $120 million project. Look, at the end of the day, the business of America is business, and I'm not terribly surprised to see Disney canceling a $1 billion contract. That's only going to harm people in the Orlando and Florida area. And it's one more reason why, as a limited government conservative, I've said for months now that I think both sides ought to stand down, take the victory for parents' rights in the legislature, and move on. Look, Larry, I like Walt Disney, not woke Disney. All right, but Florida.
Can anyone identify where he stands on this subject? He went after Ron DeSantis in the way that he's destroying the state and some of the money coming in from Disney. But at the same time, he likes Walt Disney, not woke Disney. So that's what Ron DeSantis would say, the guy that you disagree with, but then you kind of agree with there. It's outrageous, and it's very Mike Pence. There's more folks dealing with this, but they're more pundits. I want to start with the presidential guy there. Your first thoughts here. First of all, that ad there, Francesca, but also Mike Pence pulling his best Mike Pence.
First of all, Mike Pence, this is real, wrote an entire op-ed about how he doesn't like the Disney movie Mulan and how because women shouldn't serve in the military, which puts him, on par with the Chinese Empire in, I don't know, the 16th century or whatever. Like, so cool, bro. Look, Pence is mad that he's not the governor of Florida and that the anti-Disney stuff is not in his corner. He wants to run for president. So now he's just like, resorting to like, look, we're all rich here. We all just want to keep making money, but I am going to put this zinger in Walt versus woke. And then finally, look, I don't know if Disney canceling this project was because of, Ron DeSantis's posturing towards them. It could be directly, but they could also just be saying that, right? The truth is, Disney should pay its writers right now, all right? Writers are on strike. Disney needs to pay its effing writers. So good, they should reroute that money to the people who are making their content for them as we speak.
Why would they do something like that? This is capitalism, Francesca. You're supposed to step on anyone that gets you to the status of billionaire so you can say, I did this on my own. That's the way these things work. By the way, there was a line that he said in there that I want to point out. He said, the business of America, this is Mike Pence, the business of America is business. So everyone that lives in America that doesn't run a business, is he saying, I don't give a damn about you. I don't care about your issues. I don't care about the money that you continue to pump into this country and then into my pockets. But also the business of America is business. So we'll support businesses, which we've seen. He's telling the truth there. But everyone else, F them. Which leads me to this point, you guys. Let's go to graphic 3, because this is the problem. It's not just low minimum wage type of jobs that they're potentially being lost here. It's money, and it's people that make it, and that's the influential part for these politicians. Already now, around 200 people have moved to Florida, is what the spokesperson said, and an unspecified number of people had already quit. Here's a quote: "We will no longer be asking our employees to relocate. For those who have already moved, we will talk to you individually about your situation, including the possibility of moving you back." And the average salary of those employees that were prepped to move was $120,000. $100,000. These are six-figure employees, which have, I guess, a little bit more clout for these politicians that cater to anyone with any money. And with all this happening, we're gonna see some divisions amongst these pundits and these politicians. Look, Sean Hannity had a few people on to talk about it. To be fair, all three of these folks were the pundits, but they were still divided on how to do it. Let's watch this discussion.
I'm going to quote Kellyanne Conway from earlier in the day. Ron DeSantis needs an economic plan if he's going to run for president. Ron DeSantis needs an energy plan if he's going to run for president, and he ought to be focusing on that. And this doesn't do that.
Wait a minute. You don't think the issue of age-inappropriate sexual material or gender identity information or CRT, that has to get out of our schools?
Parents vote, but the schools are a state and local issue. And you know what people care about? Inflation. Because people's wages adjusting for inflation have gone down about 4% under Joe Biden. And Ron DeSantis does not have an economic plan as of yet. And today, Disney just pulled a $1 billion investment out of Florida. And these are six-figure jobs. And he's picked a fight with Disney for,
this is a state issue. I mean, I think it's important that we're indoctrinating our kids and that we're not giving them the education that they need for life.
Bacon McDowell is taking it to Sean Hannity. He's like, but what about the wokeness? What about the fake arguments we have to fool people into voting for Republicans? She said, wait a second, you might need to care about the fact that she brought the six-figure jobs. She brought the $1 billion investments. Yo, that's what they care about, Sean, but he's still trying to carry the
Elsa doesn't have a husband. Is it Elsa? She wears her man. Like, come on. First of all, look at that. I just love the idea that Disney is woke. My childhood, my young girlhood being indoctrinated by princess and prince patriarchal norms would like a word with you, Sean Hannity, because I can't get that out of my head, all right? Pretty sure Disney screwed my entire perception of how to relate with people and relationship. You can change him and then you get to be a human. God. Only I had not learned that lesson.
Well, hopefully Floridians will realize this, but by then he's gonna be off running for president. Hopefully, to his mind, at least getting away from all of this madness. But yo, he's got to come up with something. This is what we've been saying for a while. You can't survive on the woke argument. You're gonna have to survive on some kind of policy, because here come debates, here come policy positions that apparently no Republicans have any grasp on to. Let's jump to this next story. Since we're talking about these culture wars that they're fighting, Tommy Lauren was also on that panel talking with Hannity and McDowell and those guys. And what they want to focus on is more like this. And ask yourself, as we watch this hatred for normalcy in the country, is this what people are voting for? Let's watch. There's a new Ranger Raptor ad. I'm sorry, not a new one. New to conservatives that are mad about it because of a paint job. Not even a paint job, it's probably like a wrap. But there's a couple of Raptors shooting through the dust, and one of them gets cleaned off to unveil its rainbow finish. Oh my God, it's so offensive. It's offensive to people like Ben Shapiro. They're adding to their hatred towards companies that talk about inclusion of anyone else that also has money and wants to spend it, and they hate it. Here's his tweet in response to this whole thing. He says, a giant government corporate cyborg vomiting rainbows on a human face forever. I'm gonna pause there.
What?
It's exactly the question I had for you. I was wondering if you had some kind of read on this that made more sense than what I can make of this. A giant government corporate cyborg vomiting rainbows on a human face forever. What the hell is he talking about? Whose face?
You know, here's what I hate about the woke, anti-woke BS. Don't make me defend Ford. Don't make me defend Disney. Don't make me defend a gas-guzzling 4x4 that you absolutely do not need, that will not be trouncing and blazing in, majestic hills. It'll be in traffic and you'll be clogging an intersection sometime very, very soon, to compensate for the fact that, you're insecure in other parts of your life. That's why you need a massive car. The point is this. It's okay that these advertisers are doing inclusive advertising. They're trying to bite off the apple. Pride is coming up. Pride Month is coming up. So it's like, that's what they're doing. They're trying to advertise to people. And yes, young folks who are beginning to buy cars are far less bigoted than the Ben Shapiros of this country, are gay themselves, are queer, and would be into this car. And they think it's cool. And that will work on them. That's all this is. That's all it is.
It's an ad. Similar to the Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light, the Mulvaney Bud Light can, which doesn't exist anywhere else except for in her hands for that quick IG video.
Right.
I get the feeling that this gold and rainbowed truck isn't gonna be flying off the lots in large numbers. Maybe someone wants to put that paint job on it. That's up to them. Weird how that works. A little bit more though, because they're all very upset about this. Evan Drago says new woke Ford Raptor ad points it out. If you'll notice, again, he tweeted this on May 17th. That's of this year. What they don't know is this ad has been out for a year. So right before Pride of 2022, they missed it because it wasn't in the middle of them trying to announce a couple of presidential nominees and folks on the Republican side. It wasn't them then after losing the midterm elections trying to figure out what to do next. Now, oh my God, that whole plan didn't work. It had no reason for them to be mad about it then because it wasn't politically expedient for them in that particular point. John Jarrett did the same thing. They all just jumped on at the same time. He says, unbelievable, gay Ford Raptor is the worst idea ever. BlackRock and George Soros destroying every product they can for their profits. Man, I can't, like, it was 2 sentences and there's all kinds of typos in that. It was annoying. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be that guy. Again, a rainbow colored Focus or whatever the hell little piece of garbage car that is. And a rainbow colored Raptor. Oh my God, what's gonna happen to my life? My children are gonna see colors on a car and they're gonna turn gay. I'm only saying what they're saying because I want you guys to hear it coming out of someone else's face and realizing how ridiculous it sounds. But there's many people who buy into this. There's other aspects of it because as they're digging deep into their archives of other advertisements, they're angry. Again, look, Newsweek pointed out that conservatives are digging up these old LGBTQ plus campaigns again after the Bud Light boycott, which they saw as a success because now people are attaching it to it. That is until those American flags pop back up on those cans. Some of the other things that they listed, in case you guys forgot. Miller Lite, Target, Starbucks. We're gonna get to that in a second. Adidas, Nike, Jack Daniels. They're throwing all their stuff out. They're burning all of their clothes for this whole same stupid argument that again is a year old. So what does this have to do with voting for folks?
Put it on a gun. We've talked about this. We've seen the memes. Put it on an AR-15, please. I do not want to see any depictions of automatic weapons or Armalite light rifle, whatever the hell. I don't want to see a depiction without a gay flag on it. We need the pride flag on every single gun and let them go at it. Oh, we want to control guns now. Do it.
Oh, if they wrap a gun, an AR-15 in a rainbow flag.
Yes.
I would love to see what happens actually.
Yes, exactly. The space-time continuum of their anti-woke crusade. It just, I don't know. I think it hits a black hole. It just.
There's a black hole who appeared on Fox News to talk about his anger. By the way, again, if you're looking for a politician that's looking to try and fail to capitalize off of this hate and anger that they're pushing, you'll find yourself a Ted Cruz. Look what he's been up to when it comes to this fight against every corporation that says anything that's normal. Watch.
Investigate what Bud Light was doing with Dylan Mulvaney. It destroyed a brand that may not recover. What's your focus?
Well, listen, I can't think of a company in modern times that has more alienated its customer base and seem to have so little understanding of who it is that actually drinks Bud Light. But this week, I sent a letter to the CEO of Anheuser-Busch along with Senator Marsha Blackburn, because the CEO of Anheuser-Busch is also the CEO or the chairman of the Beer Institute, which is the regulatory body, the industry regulatory body that regulates itself. And one of the rules that beer companies are supposed to follow is they're not supposed to market to kids. Remember the whole Joe the Camel thing? This is the same thing here. Well, you know what? Dylan Mulvaney, a massive percentage of Dylan Mulvaney's audience are kids. And Budweiser was trying, I believe, with this ill-fated marketing attempt to target teenagers.
Hey, constituents in Texas that Ted Cruz represents. There was folks murdered in a mall. There's a child that's now an orphan. His parents were and sibling was torn apart. Countless other folks get shot on a daily basis. This guy ran off to Cancun a few years ago when things got bad there. And this whole time, ever since even then, ask yourself, what has he done about those problems, specifically the gun problem? Has he talked to Governor Abbott about it and said, man, my constituents are really tired of this? Because by the way, they are. Or ask them if they're like, I'm glad that people are getting assaulted and murdered and torn apart in the streets by AR-15s. But you know what? I'm glad Ted Cruz has talked to the Beer Institute and asked them about the Budweiser's partnership with Dylan Mulvaney for a 30-second to a minute long Instagram, TikTok ad. That's what we care about.
We are about to default on our national debt. Republicans are holding everyone, the global economy hostage because they want to make poorer people poorer. And this is what Ted Cruz is talking about. Straight. I sent a letter to the head of Anheuser-Busch. That's what you're worried about? Because Dylan Mulvaney held up a Bud Light can. Oh my God, the entire nation is going to careen into the economic abyss, and that's what you're doing. I mean, it's just like, you can't write this. You can't make it up. It is interesting that look, it makes sense that writers are on strike right now. They're like, I don't know, man, reality is too nuts for me.
Exactly. We have no more work. Who's gonna? We got to strike
until this thing can correct itself, until, these clowns can bring it in, because they're giving us a run for our money and our creativity.
Let's take this first break though, you guys. Curious what your thoughts are on these first couple of stories, but we've got one more when it comes to the hatred towards the LGBTQ plus community. There's exports happening apparently. The gayness originates in the United States and now we're just sending it everywhere. Yeah, someone said that. We're gonna do that. We got a lot more happening, I promise. It's a Friday show, so we're gonna lighten it up right after that. I promise. Hang around, but we'll get your comments in a second. See you in a minute.
Welcome to Indisputable. I'm your host, Dr. Rashad Richard. We got a lot happening today. But what do we do on this show? We tell the truth. You know why we tell the truth? Because the truth is simply indisputable.
Rashad, great to be here. Congratulations on the new show. And I gotta let everybody know that Rashad and I go way back.
Here's the pattern that we see in all of these Karen stories. They think they own stuff they do not own. Now, where does that come from? I don't know, maybe slavery. Maybe they think they should still own black people.
This is what happens when Karens weaponize the police.
When you're used to privilege, equality seems like oppression.
It hits you in a certain way when someone is holding you against your will, treating you like you're a criminal and you're an innocent person. This is something that black people face no matter where they are.
A stronger black economy lends itself to a stronger, greater economy. Don't think it's exclusive of you, it's inclusive of you.
What's your beef with critical race theory?
It adds more fuel to the fire of the racist tendencies that we already have.
We have a generation of problem solvers that can remedy the problem if they are properly taught what the problem is.
You know who created redlining in this country? It was a white liberal.
I don't give a damn who created it. If it's a racist policy, Shelley, here's what I don't know. I don't know. See, there you go filibustering, brother. You're scared of this truth, but you're gonna get it though.
Climate is changing fundamentally, extremely, and non-linearly. It's becoming worse now. It's not when the levees burst that is the problem. It's in the anticipation of that.
So I hope every human being is safe. And by human beings, I do not include multinational corporations, especially the ones that started climate change in the first place.
What we're currently doing right now in cutting emissions is clearly not enough. There will be ramifications to what Trump is doing. I don't want people to suffer, but I feel like there's gonna be a lot of suffering because we have an imbecile as our leader.
So much good stuff to get to, but I have to read these couple of comments. I mean, what do you want me to do? Come on, you wrote them. TYT members, Tuffy, the dragon trainer. Whose dragons are you training? How to train your dragon. I see what you're doing here. Says, love hearing about your wee one, Franny Theo.
Aww.
Love hearing about the baby.
Well, you can subscribe to my Instagram. I have $1 a month, and they'll tell you everything about parenthood.
I did notice that. The thing is, you'll learn a lot. Trust.
Yes.
Lynn, also a member, says, wow, a fantastic Friday. Of course it is. Absolutely. She's here for the whole hour. Cray Cray Souffle says, if you're a grown man picking a fight with a cartoon mouse, there ain't a testicle tanner in the world that's gonna make you masculine. But maybe it'll get them in office. They don't care about the rest of those parts. Last one, you guys, over on Twitch. Love you on Twitch. Dissonant PM says, Francesca's baby is already perfecting their breakdancing routine. The spins, the flips.
That's what it is. I was like, what is the,
She'll end with her hand on her. Remember that move? Did you ever do that move as a kid?
No, I've seen it done though.
You spin and you finish? As if you're just relaxing. Yeah, I was that kid. Let's go ahead and jump. It didn't last that long. My knees got old fast. All right, you guys, let's jump to this next story. Starbucks is now in the crosshairs of conservatives. But why? But why?
Oh, they're gonna get coffee together. And then mom is so accepting. Now dad's accepting, all because of Starbucks' shitty coffee. Oh, little burnt coffee makes you, your habits haven't changed, says the dad.
3 coffees for Arpita.
3 cold coffees for Arpita. And it's for Arpita, not Arpit. Arpita. And he ordered it because he's accepting her name, guys. Oh, so, and the guitar music's gonna, for me, you are still my kid. Only a letter has got added to your name. It doesn't say the part where the got subtracted. Hashtag it starts with your name. So Starbucks is now exporting the transness to India. And so again, all of this relies, as I said before, on 2 things. Unity of corporate wokeness and your apathy.
Unity of corporate wokeness and your apathy. That's what's required for Starbucks to, as Ben Shapiro points out, to export the transness to India. So according to this guy who claims to be a thinking person, apparently trans folks start in the United States of America. It's the origin country of folks. And then the more that those trans folks maybe are recognized, then the rest of the world goes, oh, what is this? Creatures, trans? Oh, okay, we'll take that too because America dictates the rest of the world. There's so many things wrong with these thought processes for these folks, and that somehow people believe it and go, yeah, America, we are exporting our transness through an ad, which Starbucks tweeted out here. They said your name defines who you are, whether it's Arpit or Arpita. At Starbucks, we love and accept you for who you are, because being yourself means everything to us. Read that tweet to yourselves again and try and find out who the good guys are versus the bad guys. He says your apathy is what's needed to spread this. So what he wants you to do is be a hateful piece of garbage. That's who he is. He goes, man, you guys are just way too nice. You actually consider another human being to be a human. What's the matter with you? As a matter of fact, now we're taking it internationally. So that was a couple-minute ad. They're doing a whole thing trying to show inclusion towards other folks, even in other countries. Maybe even it's happening in India because guess what? There's these folks. They're gay, they're trans, they're bi, they're lesbian, and they're gay in other countries. It's really weird how that works, but for some reason they don't realize that it's a possibility. Matter of fact, there's several ads. It's a bit of an ad campaign where they're looking to recognize humans for being humans. I'm sure this really pisses them off too. Watch one more of these.
This place is changed. But ये बताओ कितने चार प्लेट बिलाएगा? Just yours. Shalini auntie has also got you some. I knew you'd be very excited. Ma, I'm so happy you have finally come to stay with me. I know, finally. वरना 2 साल तो ऐसे ही वीडियो कॉल्स में निकल गए. अच्छा बोलो, what will you have? Cappuccino, frappuccino, more. You know what I like. ना तू ही कुछ ऑर्डर कर दे. आपके लिए आपका कुछ फेवरेट ऑर्डर किया है. मेरा फेवरेट?
Filter coffee for my cool ma. Filter coffee for my cool ma.
it's outrageous, Francesca. I'm not sure how much sooner I can run with maybe Starbucks. And if I find myself in India, oh my God, I'm going to be surrounded by people who order coffee,
who love their families and accept them for who they are. Again, with all of these discussions, don't make me defend Starbucks. Stop it. Stop. And you know that the right is so full of it, that they think so little, of course, of the people who watch their programs, that they won't tell you what's actually going on with Starbucks, which is that they are union busting at rapid pace, that baristas can't make ends meet, that some have had to go on strike. They're trying to organize union drives. Starbucks is promoting people who aren't unionized, which is illegal under the NLRB. Like, that's the actual story with Starbucks right now. But no, let's focus on what is just an ad, a PR campaign. And this is where it gets kind of wonky and weird and scary for people who presume to be on the left, is I think sometimes folks who know that Starbucks is a, money grubbing, a greedy corporation, they'll also pile on what is ultimately an ad in an anti-woke way. And I think we really need to separate those things out, right? Just because Starbucks is jumping on a trans inclusivity message doesn't mean we hate that actual message. We just understand that the person delivering that message is bad faith, right? And that's the thing Shapiro will not describe for you. That's the thing he will not separate out or parse out. No, he just here's a straight coffee for my, definitely daughter, son. Like what? Like what?
It's all
or
it
just
takes,
like the dad gets up and throws the coffee in his kid's face, runs out. What does he want?
I'm still trying to. I think it's we had the woke beer ads, and then we had the unwoke beer ads and the unwoke coffee companies that were popping up, and there's always issues. But the sticking point is the hate. If there's anything that's inclusive, normal, love, acceptance, these are negative terms for conservatives. Always remember that. Let's jump to this next story. Probably one of the most harrowing videos you may see. It's actually caught on tape. I feel like I'm starting like an Inside Edition type of intro here. But as you'll see, there was a bit of an issue with this very, I guess, normal traffic stop in Iowa. Let's go.
Stop the car, man! Stop the car! 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 Stop it! Stop the car! Stop the car! Get off the put on the goddamn brakes! Put on the brakes! Put on the brakes! Stop!
This has turned into a problem. This officer finds himself on the hood of a car that's very slowly creeping away. I mean, his gun was drawn. He's screaming F words all over the place. Seems pretty standard for police officers. His gun was drawn out too. You wonder how soon before he's popping caps between this guy's forehead and through his front windshield. Well, let's see how this whole thing started first, you guys. It seemed like a very normal intro to a traffic stop. Let's watch.
How's it going, guys? Hey, Dennis. Hey, hate to be the one to tell you this, but it sounds like you got a warrant out of Illinois. Okay, you got your ID on you? Sorry? Okay. Do you have anything on you? Okay. Why don't you step out of the car until we can identify you? Don't step out, man. Yeah, reach, unbuckle your seatbelt and step out of the vehicle. Yeah.
Stop the car, man! Stop the car!
And then it just went south. He seemed pretty calm there. He walked up respectfully. The guy apparently he discovered a warrant out of Illinois that someone had, and he was still like, just step out, we gotta identify you. Seemed like normal, actually calm, patient police work. Then he found himself on the hood, and this when it really got scary. This is the craziest video of this whole interaction. Let's watch.
Stop the car, man! Jesus! Stop the car, man! go get him. I'm all right. Sure? You good?
Cop ran after him after he took off. I think they said speeds were in excess of 50, 60 miles an hour as he clung to the roof of that car, trying not to die. But he said he's okay. Go get him. Go get him. Go get him. He's okay. How about that okay fall? This Iowa police officer broke his back after he was flung from the hood of that speeding car during what began as that routine traffic stop. His name is Patrick McCarty, and he worked for the Carroll Police Department for 4 years before that incident. And it took nearly a year for him to recover from the injury. This is back in, I think, March of 2021. He was off work for 3 months. Not okay, Mr. McCarty. He clung to the roof and hoped his life would still be around afterwards. The guy driving that car, his name is Dennis Geider Jr. He's only 29 years old. And he pleaded guilty to serious injury by vehicle this March. And he's been sentenced to up to 5 years in prison, which I think is, he got off pretty decent for what they could have probably thrown at him for the fact that guy almost lost his life. And he will serve it separately from that Illinois sentence. That was what the warrant was for. Here's an image of a Mr. Geider. I hope I'm saying his name right. And he took off there. By the way, that warrant, I was like, this must be something really serious, maybe something crazy, and he has to get away, and he doesn't know no matter what, I'm going to jail forever. There was an outstanding warrant for Geider's arrest for a forgery case in Illinois when he was stopped by police. I'm not sure the degree of the forgery case. I'm no attorney, but I feel like that's not a big enough reason to go taking off with a cop on your roof, especially when you took off at 5 to 7 miles an hour to start with. But the one mistake probably that McCarty did make is he stayed on that hood, because there was a point when he hadn't taken off yet, and I think you might realize, yo, this guy might drive. Then he went crazy with it. Crazy video there though, Francesca.
I mean, look, his name's McCarty. He's gonna ride whatever has wheels. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. No, first of all, I thought this video was going somewhere else, which was usually to the death of the person being apprehended. So I guess every time there's a cop video that doesn't end in someone who was not trying to kill the police officer survives, I'm like, tiniest little clap. But also, what are you doing, McCarty? You're an idiot. Don't jump on the hood. You're not Vin Diesel. I feel like at a certain point in that video, he was like, whoa, I'm actually doing this. I'm holding on, He's just kind of calmed down, was like, this is pretty easy, Tom Cruise, like, I get it, It's not worth breaking your back over. I feel like everyone acted idiotically in this instance, and yet everyone survived, so yay.
Crazy. Well, I mean, if nothing else, it's a video on what can be done, but then there's one mistake that he made, was hanging onto that hood a little bit too long. He had the gun on and everything. So the point was to intimidate, get him to stop, but he
just jumped off.
Yeah, and this point, this ain't working. We've creeped up to 15, 20 miles an hour. Time to dive. But I mean, it happens really fast. I'm not gonna criticize him for that, even though they kind of pointed out, at least the police department there, they said they're not going to, they're gonna make sure there's a training, there's a point that they're gonna teach other officers about what not to do. By the way, Geider there, that suspect, his attorney tried to explain away what was going on. This made it a little worse in my mind for him. In a letter to the Carroll County Clerk of Court in February, Geider said, I feared for my life after he pulled out his gun and jumped on the hood of my car. He pulled it out after he started driving, bro. Also, his attorney asked the judge for leniency during sentencing and argued that McCarty was not trained to step in front of a moving vehicle, which I think maybe he's right about. Probably wasn't trained to step in front of a moving vehicle, but once he's there, I'm not sure if the guy driving can say, he wasn't trained to do that. I think I'm gonna take off.
That's a good lawyer.
Probably not the way that's.
Let's be real. Yeah, 5 years, not bad.
Yeah, I mean, 5 years, something worked out for him. Let's go ahead and jump and change gears again. That was crazy. I still can't believe it. I feel like maybe the windows were partially up and he got a good grip and then the windows were squeezed. Who knows? That's a good grip though. I mean, he made it that far at 50, 60 miles an hour. Okay, you guys, let's jump to this next story.
Sorry.
Listen, I have a body camera. Obviously, everything I have is recorded.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pat you down again, all right?
You're taking in some fentanyl, Matt, and that's we've got to make sure you may not feel it right now, but God forbid something happens to you.
Yeah, no, I've never done that
before. Feel terrible about that,
Just step on it here. I'll bucket you up.
Shit on the seat. More drugs on the seat.
Yeah, I wasn't joking. I have an appointment on the 17th.
All right. I'll crack a window for you in a second.
Why was that crackhead passed out in a car with business attire on? Because that crackhead is a Rhode Island Republican city councilman. And he was found there, as you saw right there, by police officers with him passed out on some form of substance. They also found a bunch of stuff in his car, which connected to the same thing as well. He started explaining all the stresses that he's going through and the reasons why he then was smoking that cocaine fentanyl combo, which sounds very dangerous. Here's more.
Well, a rescue's gonna come check you out, man. I can't let you go. You were literally choking in your sleep. Somebody flagged me down about it.
Oh, I have sleep apnea. I'm sorry.
Well, and then you have a crack pipe in your hand, so it's like.
Please, sorry.
Listen, I have a body camera. Obviously, everything I have is recorded. You know that, and what I've observed is on camera, so I can't pretend I didn't.
There will be no arrest.
What?
There will be no arrest.
No. Are there any drugs in the car or anything like that?
No, nothing.
All right. How long have you had this problem, man?
It was a relapse. I've been clean for 13 years.
All right.
Just went through a really, really bad divorce recently.
Okay. Do you know if any of that was laced with fentanyl or anything? Because you were out, and like looked like you were choking.
Really?
Yeah. That's why somebody literally sprinted and flagged me down because they thought you were having a heart attack or choking.
I guess that explains why there's such this kind interaction with this addict. That's what he is. He's an addict. He said he relapsed, and he's probably got some issues that lead him to that point. Weird. It's like a human approach to someone who's addicted to very hard drugs that can kill them and then put them in positions where they can kill other people, like behind the wheel, passed out, drooling and choking on his own spit. Let's keep it real. One more though, because this is what his issue was. It wasn't about his addiction. They talked about that a little bit, but it was about people finding out. Because he's a man of importance. Last one here.
Political career.
Riley then expresses his concern about the media finding out about his arrest.
We don't report nothing to the media unless someone tells them. So, and then arrest records are public record. I'm not gonna lie to you. But we can do for the kids. There's not much we can do on this. If I was in your situation, I'd be in handcuffs.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying don't arrest.
Yeah.
In terms of media for kids, as much as
listen. We are only required to release what we release, and we won't. We have to release an arrest record by law. All right, jump in before you. We just want.
Any addict out there, any friends, family of addicts out there, and any police interactions that they've ever had, do you think that they'd say, hey, can we make sure this doesn't get out? And then the officer pleads and talks with them like, I'm sorry, sir, all I can do is I have to arrest you because, if I was in your position, I would be arrested. And considering you're a higher level position in this country where apparently justice and the law is equally distributed, I would be in a different position than you. So I'm sorry, sir, but you're breaking the law, smoking crack, fentanyl, and cocaine all together. I don't know. Here's our guy. I forgot his name already, but here he is after he's been arrested. There's his mugshot. His name is Matthew Riley, by the way. I never even said his name. Matthew Riley there. And also, after all this, his worst nightmare came true because Graphic 3 shows that he had to resign as chairman of the Cranston Republican Party. The mayor pointed that out. All of this comes to a head. So Francesca, this is the question that I had, at least in my mind. So will they start to understand that, since they had compassion for him, took him in very calmly and safely, maybe he's gonna get some help, that there's other folks that maybe they're a little dirtier on the streets. Maybe their clothes aren't tucked in with a tie, and maybe they're not behind a decent car. Are you gonna treat them the same?
I mean, it's wild. I mean, this should really be a case study. Like, this is proof that police officers know how to deal with civilians with compassion and with calm, right? The tranquility, the calm that they show to him, the like concern they have for him. It doesn't even, like, the fact that it was crack or fentanyl, it's like he's more concerned about the fentanyl because he didn't want him to die, right? He's like, the officer doesn't even sort of flinch at the idea that crack is illegal, right? You're like, man, it's so clear that it's racism and classism. Like, it is so clear that it's just who you are, and that, and it makes every kind of sense when, friends of mine, people of color who are like, look, I dress up when I go to places. Like, I try to wear a tie, or I try to look like, whatever, like I'm going to like church or something, because you get treated differently when you get stopped by the police or when you're out and about. Because look at this, it's just insane to me. I mean, it truly is, and it's like, no, we need mental health care workers, because I do not trust the cops anymore on addiction issues, on unhoused issues, on any issues, on mental health crises. But do they have it in them? Do they have it in them without the training, without all the money that they need for it to actually treat people decently? Yes, right there, you saw it.
Yep. Where's the training? We talk about training. The training from society and from just their interactions with folks is, you're okay if you go and fight and beat up a broke addict, but if someone who's in a position of power with money and position, can't do that to them, because then their jobs are threatened. That's the time the police officer like, wait a second, this might actually hurt me in my job. They can't have that. So he understands it, and it was all exhibited out there. By the way, I noticed something else. There was fentanyl involved, right? I didn't see any cops passing out from taking a whiff. I'm just saying.
Right.
Did you notice anybody passing out?
They're about to. They're about to.
They're getting there.
They're getting ready. They're like, should we do a viral moment? No, I'm tired.
If it's real, I apologize. I just haven't found the proof yet. Let's jump to this next story. And it makes me wonder, this potentially could be showing up in your neighborhood. Look out for this guy. He has too much fun with his job. Let's go. That repo man has a little bit too much fun with his job. He's only one repo reaper over on TikTok, and he posts videos like this somewhat regularly, where he's taking people's cars from AutoZones to Walmarts to gas stations, and he's like, I have too much fun with this. He breaks down a dance right there, while a distraught person behind on their car payments has to just sit and watch. He gets millions of views over there on TikTok going through this whole thing. And he pointed out in that one, I just repoed an AutoZone worker's car, right, really sitting it on his lunch break. And look how much fun I'm having. That's not the only one he did. Here's another example. He definitely has fun. But this popped up in my head. Because repo men a lot of times have to deal with dangerous situations. Nobody wants their car taken. And sometimes people get physical. But he seems to not really care, or he just walks up and shoves around and makes fun of people in front of him, as many of them, it's probably the worst day of their entire month. So is it real, or are these people assisting him in these million viewed videos? It kind of reminded me of this old show on True TV where we weren't sure if this was real or not. Remember this?
I know what I gotta do, ma'am. I'm here to repossess your car.
I'm not stupid. I'ma back up and I'll do it.
You ain't backing up.
Which one is left?
You ain't going nowhere.
Bernice! Oh my God!
South Beach Tow was not a real show.
Bernice, are you okay? I'm not. Now I'm gonna be thinking about Bernice for forever. Thank you.
The rest of that clip, Bernice was okay. She popped up and next she was in those folks' faces, slamming them around for what they did to her. Broke out the window of that Camaro, man, she is powerful. So again, I asked the question as we go through some of the things that our buddy Repo Reaper posts on TikTok. Look, he's dancing on the flatbed of his tow truck. He's playing his favorite music every time. Let's look at some of these images. He's doing one-armed push-ups in one of these. I love the second image here. That's our guy. He just has fun with his job. Is it just fun or is it for those views? Man, it's gotta be somewhat of a reoccurring a theme here on the show. Because sometimes people just post and you're like, it's almost too ridiculous to be real. I haven't come to a conclusion yet, but there's one thing he's doing on this last graphic, you guys. He's selling shirts and I guess license plate covers and bumper stickers.
Reaper can't catch me.
What's that first one say? Lord, watch over me while I get this money on that t-shirt. Just saying, maybe he's looking to make a couple dollars off of this.
We're in a grind set mindset hell world, Jayar. So yes, Repo Reaper trying to make. I mean, TikTok doesn't even pay. We just give them free content, y'all. That's like what happens. You have to get like crazy millions and millions and millions of followers. But like, what's next? Is it gonna be like the eviction Punisher, and we're like, oh, look at his entire family crying, haha. TikTok.
Gotta find it, man. But okay, I'm willing to conduct a quick impromptu poll. Real or fake? That's all I want to know for you guys. We'll see at the back end of this.
Real, still despicable. Sorry, were you asking me?
No, I want your vote too, absolutely. So you think real and despicable?
Yeah, it's real.
Okay, I'm still undecided. I'm looking for y'all's thoughts. As we finish with this last story, I'll check back and see where you guys, just real or fake, just put that in the comments, we'll find it. Okay, there was things going down in Miami. You go out, you meet a young lady, maybe you want to take her home. Not this one, let's go. Surveillance footage from an elevator in a high-rise luxury apartment in Miami was captured of this woman. As you see, she walks in with a gentleman who's blurred out. He doesn't want his identity shown there because he was a mark. She went in the elevator with him, went up to his room, apparently had some drinks, and she left on her own. He woke up at noon the next day to find that he had been jacked for about $600,000 worth of jewelry, by the way. You see those solo cups, man? We're gonna get to that in a second, but really fast, those details. According to that victim, he arrived at his home. We're not gonna say where he was, it's written there. I don't know why we have to tell her this man lives. Around 5:30 in the morning, this is just early in May, with that woman that he'd met at the Dirty Rabbit Bar in a dance club. That night, he took her home, things went down. After sharing a drink in his apartment, police said the victim then fell asleep. Maybe he didn't even get anything but a drink. And he was having some drinks, they said, met this lady and said, hey, let's go back to my apartment. That's what the police officer, Michael Vega, said. Since she offered to pour him a drink, he begins to sip on it. And at about 3 sips in, he falls asleep. Man, that's potent stuff. And he woke up around noon and he discovered his safe was open. Jewelry was missing. And also she was gone. This jewelry he's missing was worth the $600,000 worth. It was a Rolex Daytona rainbow watch adorned with diamonds, a Sky Dweller Rolex, a gold chain, Franco gold bracelets, Cartier sunglasses, and a rose gold diamond ring. Things that I have no imagination as to why I would have any reason for having in my house or in my life. But to each their own. You don't have them anymore, bro. It sucks. But this is what went down. They're still looking for this lady. That's why they were showing her getting back in the elevator and those stills of her face. Now to those solo cups. There's 2 of them. Police understand, or at least they suspect, that she used those cups to drug him. One was her cup and one was his cup. She took both for her DNA evidence to take off and also to make sure they don't see what she slipped into his drink. That's their theory, and I think maybe they're right. They're still looking for her. We'll see when they find her. What's your thoughts here, man?
I mean, it sucks Like that's like sorry, sorry, dude. Like yeah, my bad. Like I mean, not my bad, but like you got. Like I'm glad he survived. She clearly knows what she's doing. She's invested in the drugs. She's invested in something else as well. And to all the men out there, be smarter. Don't just black out because you see breasts. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta look, raise your chin up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like just like be careful.
I hate to laugh at this stuff. I'm sure it happens to a certain degree. Just watch your back. You never know. Yeah, this thing, we fellas, generally, this is a very big generalization. We kind of float through life without too many fears of people doing things to us.
Yeah.
Because look, in general, and in I think stats would show, men generally tend to be the assaulters and the druggers and to random strangers. They happen to be women, but when the tables are turned, man, it really gets scary. We go, wait, I've never had to experience this feeling of having to watch my back from women? Oh my God. Now we know this, but definitely know it when things like this happen for sure. I'm not sure how soon he's gonna get back on that horse and find himself at the Dirty Rabbit again. But I do hope they do get this criminal. People should be ripping folks off, even though we did have a chuckle at our friend. The poll shows, what would that say?
TikTok man fake.
That it's fake? The repo man is fake, apparently, to you guys. I need some proof. Because listen, this is a show about standards. Francesca, thank you for joining me on a Friday episode. I'm glad you were here. Wasn't it a little more fun than usual?
It was, actually. Nobody died. Nobody died.
I was just about
that was nice.
No one died.
I like the part where everyone lived. Thank you, Jayar.
Thanks for being here. Habituation Room, of course, and also check Francesca out on all of the TYT shows. Thank you again. Up next, we have the Young Turks and their power panel. You guys go check them out and have a fabulous weekend afterwards. We're gonna see you on the best damn day of the week, Monday.